And next up is a moment that I've been really waiting for this whole morning. As we move forward, we're gearing for a fireside chat that I'm really, really anticipating. Remember a few months back, that collective moment when the whole nation held its breath, that groundbreaking moment. Can anyone guess what I'm talking about? Yes, Chandrayaan 3, the mission that made India the first country to soft land on the lunar South Pole. A significant part of that success is credited to Dr. Ritu Karidhal, who is often referred to as the Rocket Woman of India. She played a pivotal role in the mission, and we have a privilege today to hear from her. I'd love for all of you to just stand up and appreciate the work that she's been doing for our great nation. Please welcome, ma'am. And guiding this insightful conversation is our host, Ms. Rajashree, a driving force in the tech industry. She has been instrumental in ensuring TCS remains at the forefront of innovation. And she is always available for CXXO. And I have been used to always pinging her at 7 a.m. Rajshi, can you please tell us this? Can you please join this IC conversation? And she's a true champion for women entrepreneurs and women in the workforce. Thank you so much for being here, Ms. Rajashree, and really looking forward to this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Big thanks to you, ma'am, for joining us. I was told that this is one of the most awaited sessions today, and I'm nervous. To give you a quick introduction, she's a senior scientist at ISRO. I think worked for many, many, many years. She led the Mangalyaan, which we all know was where we landed on, we went to Mars on our first attempt, something which no country has done. She was the mission lead director for Chandrayaan 2, and she played, obviously, as we heard, a very, very important role in Chandrayaan 3. And yes, she is our first rocket woman of India. So thank you so much. You know, I will ask a little bit about her background later. I don't want to give a long introduction. But ma'am, first of all, how do you feel when people refer to you as rocket woman of India?
First, thank you, Rajashree, and thank you, Kalari Capital, for calling me here. And, you know, witnessing so many brilliant minds, women empowerment, I can see here. So, all the best and good luck for all of you. Yes, as you asked, Rocket Woman, I feel very humbled by the love and admiration of people, you know, mainly towards the contribution, the women's scientist contribution in this challenging or complex missions. So really, it's something very much valued and cherishable, yes.
Great. We'd like to know a little bit about your journey. We understand you grew up in Lucknow and you were always a science whiz, or you loved science. So tell us a little bit about your childhood and how did you get to this point?
Yeah, see, what I feel is you can excel in the field where your passion lies. So since my childhood, I've been telling for many places wherever I go, like since my childhood, I had this, you know, I remember those days in Lucknow city, the mode of transport used to be this, you know, man-pulled rickshaws. Rickshaw pe jate the na. And I used to sit and then I used to watch in the clear sky, the moon also is coming. And whenever you see this fellow is also coming behind me, white is chasing me. I was very small. So those sorts of questions always arises in my mind at that time itself. Why then suddenly somewhere it disappears and somewhere it is changing its size. So those, you know, interest in understanding or in knowing, maybe since childhood I had this, but then it is again depends upon your background support, your family support. That was very much there. My parents, I have to thank to them and very much, because what is more important is how important it is being given to a girl's education. So in my place, in my family, I'm very much thankful to them because they never discriminated that, you know, the best of the schools which I should go, they sent me there. Then further, I continued my studies, mainly in the science subjects. I took the science as an option and the mathematics. And everywhere they were not telling what you will do with this, you know, taking the science and maths, what will you do? No questions like that. If you are interested, if you show you are hardworking, They were all very supportive. So I can say journey started from there, got the support from parents, then yes, the hard work and continuous perseverance towards your studies or doing something and then joining ISRO. So that all happened, yes.
That's great. So Chanda Mama Durke really meant a lot for you. We just heard the poem and didn't do anything about it after that. So you've been involved in some iconic missions, within ISRO. As I was telling you, my son is an aerospace engineer, so I have watched a lot of these launches live. And when we see those videos, we see you in many, many of those videos. I think you might recognize her from that videos. Tell us about these missions. There have been good times, hard times, but tell us about these missions a little bit.
Yeah, yes, as you rightly brought out, these missions are something, when you talk of, you would have all heard of, PSLV launch vehicle or GSLV launch vehicles, where the satellite, right now when we talk about satellites, the applications are huge. You see when we talk with, using mobile or GPS or, communicating from one place to other or even television networks and all that. So everything now is driven by these satellites which are revolving around the earth in certain altitudes. Basically, when you talk of this communication, the satellites are there around, you can say, 36,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. And we have had many such successful missions, many satellites which are revolving around Earth, providing these services. They all were there. But suddenly, and we thought of now, what beyond Earth? So when you talk beyond Earth, there are so many unknowns. For example, we started our journey from Chandrayaan-1. And that was something, first time, we, maybe here also many people who would have been having the background of science will understand that when we talk that we have to go beyond certain regime of Earth, it means you have to really, escape velocity or something like that you would have read on those subjects. So it is something first time we had to come out of Earth's gravity, start going towards moon and gets captured by moon. It's all dynamics were not, we didn't have any heritage. And at that time, again, it being the first mission, it was like as a scientist, when I tell, it is not only men scientists, I want to really impress upon that point that the women scientists also, at that time, women and men scientists all equally, contributed. We used to have lots of brainstorming sessions because after moon, then was the very major project Mars. Mars, why it was most challenging because we had to complete this project in just 18 months of time. And yes, moon mission was a successful, Chandrayaan-1 was a successful mission. We could detect presence of water on the lunar surface. And everything was fine, but then if we have to tell, like we have to go to Mars, it is you can say multiple times harder or complex than moon mission in terms of going beyond the Earth's gravity and traveling towards Mars, traveling around. See here itself when I am coming, it's just 15-kilometer distance. I found so much of issues. And traffic signal or coming this, then I took the wrong turn and all that. But then you have to travel 650 millions of kilometer distance, reach to the spot, get captured by Mars or orbiting around Mars. That was the mission. I can say in Chandrayaan-1, women's contribution was good contribution, but in Mars mission, when it came, Mangalyaan, it was almost equal contribution. Everywhere you find, whether it's a computer engineer or a mission, like my team was in the mission operations and mission management, when you find mission engineer or a control engineer or a computer engineer or a, flight dynamics, any aspect you see, the women's were actually the leading the team. So that is why that mission, it really inspired lot of even because main focus on women scientists started coming from Mangalyaan. When Mangalyaan became successful, as I was telling, the challenge was the traveling this distance, and no nation had done it in the first attempt. You know, they tried multiple. Success rate was around less than 50%. And we had to do it, but in the first attempt itself, we reached near Mars, we captured the orbit, the satellite has rotated around the Martian, or in the Martian orbit, sent lots of data, and it has created, at that time itself, it created that, inspiration in many, many women of our country. Even whenever I go, even within the country or across nation, it has really set an example for this excellent contribution of women, or role of women in achieving this complex mission.
No, that's, goosebumps I'm getting them. And I also wanted to tell you that there is a fantastic TED talk by ma'am on this mission. Please watch it when you can. Of course, the Chandrayaan-2 and the Chandrayaan-3 story today, the topic is about resilience. And, we saw that, I think, very public failure of Chandrayaan-2. I know it was just the last bit. A lot of things went well, and it's still a difficult video to watch, and then you see this fantastic Chandrayaan-3. So tell us about how did you do it, what went through your mind with this very public, sort of, I hate to use the word failure, but the last thing that didn't work. And then how did you come back so strong in Chandrayaan-3?
Yeah,
how did you go through it?
It's a very good question. As you told, Chandrayaan-2, as you rightly mentioned, after Chandrayaan-1, that was an orbiting mission. We had Chandrayaan-2. Chandrayaan-2 basically was two objectives in one mission. One objective was to have an orbiter which will revolve around the moon and send the data. It will just study the surface through the instruments which are on the satellite and will send the data. And the other was a lander, which is supposed to get separated from this orbiter and go and land on the moon surface towards the south pole of the region of the moon. First of all, I tell you, orbiting mission is good because you had experience, even orbiting around Earth, or going, and you had Chandrayaan-1 orbiting around Moon, Mars. But landing is something totally different mission, one level higher than what I told you, Mars mission. Because, first of all, you have to, for anywhere to land, what you need first? Can anyone tell? What is first important thing to land? To find the landing site. Is it not? Where to land? And then if you have to see that where to land, nobody has gone to the surface where we can do, when we go and try to, even for we have to purchase some site, we go do a lot of survey and everything, and then find everything is fine, and then only do those, selections and all that. But then here we don't have, nobody has gone to the moon surface. We have only image data. Using those data, we had to really do rigorous analysis. Because what happens, like this time we thought that we should go to a region where nobody has gone yet. That is, towards the southern region, towards the south pole region of the moon. And there, if you see, the moon surface is very treacherous. The terrains are very harsh. You will find big, big hills or very big craters, boulders. The terrain is not flat at all. So in those very treacherous terrains, you have to find a small piece of land, a flat land, where you can land. So that itself was very, very challenging. And then, yes, there also I want to tell that along with men scientists, women scientists played a very important role in finding that landing site. So landing site was good, that we found the site, and then Chandrayaan-2 landing, everything was fine. As you told, just we were a few meters away from the Earth's surface. It did the hard landing. It could not do a soft landing. We lost the communication. But then, as I told, these all are very unknown regions where the forces which are acting on the platform, so there are certain things, something you would have heard of, unknown unknowns. See, we can take care when we design some project or when we go for realizing some project, we as earlier madam was telling about, contingency plans. So we have plan A, then we see that things may go wrong. We know what and all parameters may go wrong. Then we have a contingency plan, as a plan B. But certain things you will not know itself what can go wrong. If you do not know what can go wrong, how you will plan the contingency? So they are called unknown unknowns. So you can model the known unknowns, but it's very difficult to venture into unknown unknowns. But then such failures, they give you the lessons. They make you to learn the lessons which nobody else can tell you. It's not available in the open literature or, even for research also you need the data. So that data is from where, like such missions will provide the data to you. So why it failed, what happened, then the analysis of the huge amount of data, it gave us lot of improvements we could make in Chandrayaan 3 because of this data which was available with this mission. And then yes, Chandrayaan 3 we had successful mission on the same landing near to the same place we landed, but it was a full successful mission.
It's a picture perfect landing, right?
Yes.
I want to ask you two questions. One is when we were designing the agenda for this event, I was talking to Vatsala and I said we need to have people who work in deep tech to come on this stage, because we often find women are not seen as deep tech founders. They don't build companies. Though we all study science, I'm sure a lot of you have studied science, but somehow we lose track of it. So what words of inspiration do you have for people here? What can you share with, I'm sure there are founders here who want to build companies with deep tech in space, robotics, there are a lot of new companies.
Yeah, actually, as you told, see, there is nothing very much like men can do and women cannot do. I don't believe in that. So when we can reach to an unknown far planet or land on a far unknown surface, there is nothing which women cannot do. So yes, but that is difficult part which comes on women's side is you handling work, career and home things, balancing the two. That is very important, but what I feel, yes, those challenges will be there. It's a part, but women have that inherent strength and power. If they decide, they will be able to do it. So nothing can stop them. I also had faced a lot of, as these missions, they require, there'll be some times where it's not like fixed hours working, 9 to 5 or something. When there's some activities going on, they go late evening hours or early morning hours. We have to be there. We can't, but then I have seen that whenever this comes and then your intent to be part of that, as well as the family is also seeing it, your honesty towards that work, they will come up and they'll support. So that is, but I will feel that family support is really important. And with family support and the intent to continue, not to give up in those difficult situations, that should always be there. Then always, yes, as you told STEM, the field of STEM. But nowadays, I see a lot of, in our organization also, many young scientists are joining, taking up challenging things, not even, sometimes earlier was used to happen that, some people will go after marriage, they go back and all that, but that's not happening now. So things are improving, and I am really sure that it keeps improving, and we will surely be full, contribution will be totally equal and equal representation everywhere. So yes, the times are not far.
I'm going to ask you one question which is not in the script. When will we see a women chairman of ISRO? Soon?
I cannot tell. See, we have to work with the intent of doing work. Things will happen on its own. So certain things we should not, yes, we should keep doing whatever is given to us, whatever, and maybe certain more things we can innovate, or those things can happen. We keep doing things. That is what I feel.
We wish for that, so all the best to you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Please give a huge round of applause to Ritu, our rocket women of India. Thank you so much, ma'am.